Heat strips with a heat pump for residential heating and air conditioning. Question, they make different sizes. For instance, a 5K, 8K, 10K, and on and on. And I'm not sure, there may be a myriad of other sizes. But when changing your heat strips, if you have a new set of heat strips, you can pull them out. This particular one, the question here and the topic here is, how do I know what size heat strips I have? This particular one, if one reads the label, this is new. This says 5 kW. So this is a 5 kilowatt heat strip. And another way to determine this, if say for instance here we have one area here, one here, and we look over here and we just have two separate coils, that should be a telltale sign of say a 5K. If we had a 10K, we may have two, etc. And so, but now do keep in mind when changing your heat strips out, try to go back with the same size. And if you're not certain, my opinion is this may be a job for a HVAC professional, electrician, etc. But try to go back with the same size. Now, this label here is clear. So let's take a hypothetical and say your heat strips have been in there for 5-10 years. Everything's dry rotted. There's no label. In that particular case, then what I would do is pull the heat strips out, physically pull the heat strips out, take those heat strips to the supply house and have the supply house to match them up, because you do want to go in there with the correct size heat strips. If you've had a 5K heat strip, in my opinion, is you don't want to go with a 10K unless you change the wiring and the breaker, because the wiring and the breaker may be different sizes according to the kilowatt. Say a 5K may have a different size wire and a different size breaker than a 10K kilowatt. So now if one rewires it and rewires from there to the breaker box and rewires that, that's an electrical job for the HVAC or the professional electrician. And if that's the case, one may be able to do this. But my opinion is, if you have a 5K heat strip, it may not be a bad idea to go back in with a 5K, as opposed to thinking, oh, I'm going to upsize this. Well, if you upsize this and your wire is not wired properly, that could be a hazard, and that would not be good. So just try to match apples and apples and oranges to oranges, so that once, if you pull this out, and if you don't know, see, this is easy on this one because it's clear, the label. But now keep in mind, if this thing had heat, dust, spiders, etc., dry rotted, this label may be gone. It'll probably be there on your new one. So if you do not know what size it is, physically pull it out. My opinion is, be sure to kill all the power with all the breaker box, all the breakers, etc. Do a electrical test to make sure all the electricity's off, because this is high voltage and it can get you if you're not knowledgeable. Even if you're knowledgeable and make a mistake, it can bite you. So anyway, just try to match apples and apples and oranges to oranges. This is a 5 kilowatt heat strip. So if being replaced, one would go back in with a 5 kilowatt. And so don't try to mismatch. If you mismatch, your wiring size is not gauged. Your wiring size may not be sufficient to handle the amperage pulling through the wires, and that could heat up your wire, and it could continuously trip your breaker. So match apples and apples, 5 with a 5, 8 with an 8, whatever's in there, unless you reconfigure the wiring and the breaker, and that's a job for a professional. So this is a 5K heat strip, and meaning 5 kilowatt. So anyway, thank you for watching. Hope it helps. Thank you.